to you again, man. How are you?
Very well, sir. Very well. Are you getting used to this digital way of doing this or not?
Unfortunately, yes, I am getting used to it, and I hate that I'm
All
getting
right.
used to it because I want to go back to being able to shake hands when we're done with these things.
Well, we can
But
help each other get there. Don't worry.
yeah, exactly. We're working on it step by step. I gotta say, man, I love you in this. I love how much you give, just 110%. You dive into this world, you dive into this character, and you sell this very sort of magical world. I'm just sort of curious, and by no means do I want to spend too much time talking about the Harry Potter world, but I'm just sort of curious, how much do you think growing up in that environment, in that world, sort of kind of helps you, have it be more accessible as an adult when it might be harder to sort of tap into that magical world?
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, when you say magical world, I didn't really tie those two together because this obviously is set in the Muggle kingdom, for lack of better of a phrase. But it's funny you say that actually, because Rachel Tellaway, our fearless, lovely director, who I'm very very much fond of, she produced a film called The Borrowers, which was my first film when I was 7 years old. That really kicked me off as far as the magical kingdom, or whatever you want to call it, where I could believe anything was there. Lots of green screen, lots of blue screen, lots of looking at X's, as we did on Potter a lot. So, but this was all. There was very little. What I say, there's almost no special effects. It was all obviously physically put on me, which was really nice, really freeing up to be the lunatic that the double G is,
Yeah. Well, speaking of the lunatic, I was telling you, I love this character so much. And I was a weird kid in that, like, my parents actually let me watch like the R-rated scary movies and stuff growing up.
Okay.
So I'm just sort of curious, could you imagine doing this character and having Netflix give you guys the R rating and just saying, you know what, take this and just run with it and see what happens? What would this character look like with like no holds barred?
um I think he's pretty much the same, to be honest with you. I mean, maybe he'd be slightly better at his job. Maybe he would learn not to get too excited before he's actually executed the plan. But he's pretty dark. I mean,
Yes.
he does snatch a child from their room and put him into a nightmare factory. I mean, it's pretty hardcore stuff. It's not quite Voldemort level, but it's definitely up there.
And it also, too, it kind of reminded me of, it's funny you mentioned it going there, because it reminded me of like those Amblin kid movies or family movies of the 80s, where it kind of amped up the fear a little bit, kind of, like the Gremlins, and sort of where it kind of said they weren't afraid to scare children, which I liked a lot. And I kind of felt like we don't really get a lot of movies like that anymore. And, obviously it touches on this idea of, us all as kids being afraid of something. I told you I was allowed to watch these scary movies, so I was afraid of all of that stuff. What scared you as a kid growing up?
Good question. I mean, there was definitely the usual, I suppose, the normal, boring, scared of the dark, or scared of that little creaking cupboard door, which is where my character takes great pleasure in living. That kind of stuff. I think as you get older, it gets drilled out of you that this magical kingdom, as you say, actually exists. When you're a kid, to be honest with you, I'm still a kid, so I still believe that these things do exist. But the realms they're more open for your interpretation. And having a look underneath your bed when I was 7 years old was not something that I was rushing to do.
I'm 32. I'm still not rushing to do it. And as we wrap up, I was telling you how much I love the look of this character. I love the look of this guy. And one of the things I was thinking whenever I first saw him was like, that would be a great Halloween costume. Like, that would be so great to, like, whenever we can go back out for Halloween. Would you ever dress up as any of your characters for Halloween?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a recent campaign going on this Draco talk thing for me to revisit my previous blonde-haired.
Are you going to do it?
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
All will be revealed, my friend. But no, it was hard. The hardest bit was having this awesome costume, which took 3 hours to sort of do the whole garb, and not being able to send it to anyone. Because obviously I've been waiting for the release of the film. So now it's coming out. I'm going through all of my old photographs because the funniest thing, it always reminds me of Potter in a way, is watching Voldemort read his newspaper while he was waiting to shoot, or sipping on a cup of tea. So there's lots of funny pictures of me as this guy, but like playing the ukulele on set, or stuff like that. So
we'll post more on Instagram, man. I want to see them.
All right, deal.
Hey, man, seriously, it's so good to talk to you again. I hope you and your family are doing well. And seriously, hopefully next time that we get to chat will be in person.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, stay
Hey,
safe
man,
and
good to see
yeah,
you.
see you, mate. Bye.